Greetings, friends. My name is John Gabriel, and this is the New Calculus channel. So today, I'm going to speak about another discussion on psi.math, which I may have touched upon in the past. In fact, I did on one occasion when I talked about my debate with Anders Case of MIT. And I'm going to show you once again how mainstream math graduates with purportedly master degrees in mathematics happen to think. So let's begin. Now, so in this video here, I said that in the mainstream calculus, the tangent line is basically a straight line, and it has a slope. Now, I don't have to write f prime of c there, folks. I don't have to write f prime of c. I can write in small letters slope of tangent line at c. Okay, that's what we don't know. So we start off with this equation here, and we don't know what the slope is at c. But we do know what c is, and we proceed from tx as I show you over here, and now suddenly we define the slope of c in terms of tx, and then we can write tx, this first equation, which turns out to be this, again, in terms of itself, like this. So this is a circular definition, okay? And the most laughable part here is that the limiting process does not even apply. So they like to think of it as this definition, which is complete garbage. But now, anyway, so let's look at this carefully. We start with tx, okay? Here's tx, and we do not know what is f of c. So we solve for f prime of c in terms of tx. And now suddenly, and of course, because it's a straight line, there's really nothing to solve. The slope of any straight line, is always rise over run, okay? So it's always going to be rise over run. And now we use tx to find fc, okay? And we actually done that in this statement here. And then this line here pertains to this statement over here, okay? And then we say the function tx is used in its own definition, like this, okay? So you can't get more circular than that. Do you see t on both sides? Of course you do, right? So this is circular, not the claim that Zelos Malem and that other idiot, Jean-Pierre Messager on psi.math make, which says if f is equal to g plus c, then g is equal to f minus c. That's not circular. That's perfectly correct. This is perfectly correct. But this here has no analogy with what I'm doing over here. Okay? So what I'm showing you over here is that you're actually finding the slope in terms of this function, which you haven't actually defined yet. How are you finding it? By saying rise over run. Okay? Do you see the circularity? Okay, because then again, to define it completely, this is how they define it in the mainstream. So in the mainstream, this is the definition, which is indeed circular. Okay. Now, of course, I have lots of other things to say about this nonsense. For example, the fact that the finite differences are never equal to the derivative, and that there is no such thing as a finite difference quotient when h becomes 0, because h cannot be 0 in the mainstream. Okay, h cannot be 0. So I hope you've enjoyed this little presentation, and I'll put some details in a link to my historic geometric theorem, which explains all these things in much greater detail. I suggest you study that file, that article, very carefully, and then you'll understand why your mainstream formulation of calculus is bogus, and why you do need to learn the new calculus. I'm John Gabriel, and this is the New Calculus channel. Till next time, goodbye.